Welcome once again to Vegas Valley Treasures. My name is Kenneth. I am your host, your hand model, and the crazy Vegas Valley treasure hunter. What that means is I buy pretty things and bring them home, and sadly, I've got so many things at home that I need to find new homes for. So that gets me into trouble, like I've always said. But today, let's work on building something new. So I raided the lovely bead jar that I've been keeping, and we've got all of these lovely silver beads that need a home. And I found in my collection this piece, and I don't know what exactly it was from, whether it was an earring or some sort of zipper pull or what have you, but it's got some pretty purple beads, and it's got a charm at the end with a sun on the front, and on the back it says "Made with a Smile," which I thought was really adorable, but I really don't have a use for this as it exists. So my choices are I can either tear it down and make use of its components, or I could, I guess, make this into a zipper pull or something else, but I like the first idea. I'm going to work on making this into a bracelet. So I like the purple beads, but the yellow beads I'm not really that much of a fan of. So they're going to find their way into the bead jar. And of course, I've got other beads lying around in other containers from previous work I've done. I've always got stuff I can use. I try to sort it to the best of my ability, but it's generally only by color, as you can see. But then I've got like buckets of other beads that I could always go to. But in the meantime, we're going to play with what we've got in front of us and see what we can make. So let's work on the design after we've harvested the beads. So this is on a wire, and I don't want to take the time to mess with it too much, so I'm going to just try to clip the wire and see if that'll give me access quickly to it. Of course not. Why should anything be easy, right? There we go. And we'll put this in my scrap bucket for right now to pull the beads off. So that gives us these lovely purple beads and the big yellow beads and a purple bead and another yellow bead, and then we've got the lovely charm. And let's see, this is just metal twisted, so I can just untwist it here to get to the charm. Is that going to do it? No, not quite. Almost there. I've noticed that a lot more of my creation videos get attention rather than my box openings or my jewelry unboxings. So today I decided to make another creation video. There we are. Let's see. So since we're dealing with a silver set of beads, I figured we'll break into my 0.4 millimeter wire and make a wire bracelet, or we could work from, I don't know, I've got this lovely silver cord, stretch cord, but I think that the wire would be better because these beads are kind of small. So we're going to go with the wire. So let's figure out what we're going to do first. So I've got 7 purple beads, so if I'm going to use a monicum of symmetry, we're only going to need 6. So 1 goes in the jar. I'm thinking that the charm goes in the center, which makes sense. And let's see, we've got 4, 8, 12 beads to one side for right now. We can put 4, 8, 12 beads to the other side, and we can stick some beads in between. So let's say we put a little silver in between the purple. And we'll work from that. We'll see how it looks once we've gotten half the beads on the wire, whether or not it will fit around my wrist. And that'll give us a good determination of whether or not we need more beads or less beads. So let's go. Let's see. It's a very fine wire that we've got here, 0.4 millimeters. And let's see. Hopefully we won't regret pulling it off of this, but that's okay. Oh, it's unwinding. And we'll lock this piece into place again. That should be more than enough for us to work from. Oh, I also pulled out a lobster clasp to begin with, and we'll pull out some jump rings as necessary. Because we're going to need a jump ring for either end. We'll also need a jump ring for the charm itself for it to sit correctly on the bracelet. So let's start with the initial 12 beads on the right. So it's unusually cold today in Las Vegas. It actually rained last night. They were forecasting some snow, which is, again, unusual. Tonight, well, right now it's in the 40s. Tonight they're expecting it to get down to 29 degrees. I mean, I've seen things freeze here every once in a blue moon, but it's, again, very unusual to see that happen here. One of the reasons I moved to Vegas was the pleasant weather, which is odd to say considering the fact that you need 3 months of human refrigeration every summer. But at least it doesn't get brutally cold and we don't get a lot of precipitation. I remember back in New York, rainstorm that turned into sheets of ice on the road and on everything. I had to spend a good 30 minutes trying to crack the ice that was on my car to try to just get into it, and then finally start up the car to warm it up. It's a bit of a challenge when you can't get in your own car. Okay. These are approximately the same size beads, so let's keep going. I want to pan the hammer down a little bit so we can see better. Realize that majority of my view here is of my sign. It'd be better if you can actually see my workspace a little bit more. There we go. Sorry about that. I like to keep the Vegas Valley Treasure sign up atop in focus, but right now we really need to see the beads more than anything else. Okay, so we're sort of at the halfway point. We're just missing the charm. So I guess the question is, how are we doing? From my perspective, it looks good. We've got more than enough to get around my wrist if we continue on. So if it's going around my wrist, it's big enough to be on just about anyone's wrist, especially if we put a piece of chain at the end. And I like to give that flexibility. But in the meantime, let's get the charm on there. So we need a small jump ring. Let me go with the really silver ones. I like that because the lobster claw I pulled is very silver. So let's grab one of these. Yeah, that'll serve. And we just need to open the clasp to get it over the jump ring to get it over the charm, and put the charm on the. There we go. Put the charm on the wire, and then we can continue beading. So it'll sit like that, which is exactly what I wanted. And then we just continue. Now we've got to alternate the silver and purples. And then once we've got that, we'll just get the silvers on there. And we'll create an endpoint with a jump ring on the wire. There we go. know this looks a little rough right now, but when we're done, what we'll have is a very pretty little bracelet. Now it's just the silver beads that we need to do. So, if there's anybody out there that actually wants some jewelry, as always, I'm still selling pieces on the Whatnot app and whatnot.com. But sadly, I have not been as successful as I would have liked to have been. And I'm hunting for a new job. Put in a bunch of applications over the last few days, and I will continue to do so until something comes up that actually meets my salary requirements and gets me moving every day to do some work. Definitely motivated having a new relationship in my life, and want to be able to provide for her and myself, and not really be mooching off my future like I've been doing. Not that you really need to know that, but whatever. Let's grab some jump rings so we can create an endpoint. And we'll grab a couple jump rings to continue on from there. So, one of these, please. Yeah, we'll put some small jump rings onto the very end points so that we're not creating a big gap anywhere. And then we'll attach a larger jump ring to that small jump ring so that we don't risk pulling the wire out of the jump ring. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the jump ring is closed sufficiently. Sometimes they build these jump rings so that there's a little bit of a gap or something that's overhanging itself. But if you close the jump ring properly and don't drop it and lose it, you can have a nice closed circle, and you just twist the end point of the wire around that circle. So, for example, here, thread through the wire and then start twisting. And I'm going to grab my other pliers so that I can have a hold. And if I do my job correctly, we will basically close the wire by creating a twist at the end that holds onto this little jump ring. And I'm not really holding the wire very firmly in my left hand with the pliers, just enough to create some tension so that the wire twists around rather than anything else. And I'm moving it down as I continue twisting so that we create an endpoint. You can see that here. Well, I'm going to do something weird here. I'm going to put this in front of this so you can see what I've done. So the wire, the end of the wire, about a 1/4 inch wire that I had, is now twisted around the main wire and is holding the small jump ring in place. And if I did my job correctly, the beads should actually be able to flow right over that twist, and you can see that here. So we're going to add another jump ring to it. And this jump ring is going to hold the lobster claw, and it's going to hold on to this little jump ring. When we close this, we will have a firm, completed endpoint to the bracelet. The other side, we'll put another set of jump rings on, and if we can find a good little piece of chain, we'll add in an extender. See, I should have used my little bead stops that I just bought recently, but that's okay. So what we want to do is have just enough at the end here to create that closure, and not much more. We'll wind up snipping off whatever doesn't fit nicely, but enough that we can create that endpoint. So about here, a little bit more. There we go. Goodbye, little spool of wire. We don't need you for the rest of this project. Okay, and what we're going to do is grab the, let's put this down first. We need to make sure that this piece is closed. And I can already feel that there's a lip where the endpoints meet, so we're going to pry it down so that we get a solid endpoint and a closed ring. We good? Because if this isn't a closed ring, when we twist, really, I keep dropping things. If we don't have a closed ring, when we twist it around the wire will just pass through the opening, which sort of defeats the purpose of doing what we're doing. And now we'll just leave a tiny bit of exposed wire and twist the rest of the wire around, and eventually we'll just clip off the end point, or clip off the extra, I should say. This will create a good solid piece that the beads can still flow over. Leave a little bit of wiggle room for the beads. Let's see, so we've got that little tail. Let me see if I can get that so that you can see what's going on. So that little vertical, let's put this in front of it so you can see it better. There we go. I've got that little vertical tail, and that's what I'm going to snip off now. And when we're done, we'll have a very secure set of beads on this wire. And we'll add in the additional jump ring. There we go. See, now the beads can flow over that little piece. Let's add the other jump ring. Let me dig into my little chain pile and see if I can't find something real quick. So I always keep lots of pieces of chain, just like I keep beads, when I'm working on a project, or if I've got something that's has to be decomposed or disassembled, I should say. I always keep the bits of chain from the project so that I have something to create little extenders and such. Let's see what looks good. That's about the right size of links that I want for an extender. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just an extender. Oh, look at that link. Throw that in my link jar. Okay, so let's grab, 4 or 5 links from this piece of chain to use as my extender. We do that by opening one link, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll grab this one right here. And we'll open this one link. Take it off of the chain and close the link again. Make sure that we've got a solid close, and we do. You go back in my chain jar. And let's open up our jump ring. We'll feed through the extender. which is not really much because this is just a bracelet. If I was putting together a necklace, the extender would be a lot longer. And we'll close this jump ring, make sure it's solid, closed, and look at that, we've got a bracelet complete. Or I guess it could be an anklet if it's long enough. Really didn't measure how long it was going to be, just whether or not it fit on my wrist. And this is just a little, oh no, look at that. It's just a little bit tighter than fitting over my hand, which is perfect for what I want, because I don't want it falling off. And we've got a good closure. So, oh, silly me. Let's shape it nicely. And what we have is a pretty bracelet, just like that. I'm holding it in place rather than trying to close it. But I like it. Silver and purple. Nice colored beads. It's got a little charm. And made with a smile. I don't know if we can see it. No, my camera's not going to focus in on it. That's what the bead says. Okay, let's put it on a jewelry card and put it into the box with Grogu so that I go out and sell it, right? Oh, I did do it right. Okay. I thought for a second I put the charm in the wrong orientation. That could be fixed, but I did good. Let's see. There we are. So what do you think, folks? Was this worth my time? Does it look appropriate? Is it something that you would want? Let me know in the comments. And as always, my name is Kenneth. I am your host. I am your hand model. I am today your jewelry creator from parts scavenged from other things. I am the self-proclaimed Vegas Valley Treasure Hunter. We're watching Vegas Valley Treasures. Please, if you had fun here or you liked what you were watching, please like and, of course, subscribe. And as always, enjoy your jewelry. Bye-bye.